Hi all, in this video I'm going to show you the top 10 n8n hacks that I use on a regular basis which can increase your productivity. Check out the links in the description if you would like to get the n8n template used in this video. Let me show you how to import the template. Once you are in the n8n canvas, click on this plus sign and then select workflow. Then click on these three dots and select import from file option. Navigate to the directory where you downloaded the template. Select the template file and click on this open button. You can see the template has been imported. First one is multiple triggers. n8n allows you to use multiple triggers in a single workflow. In our example, we are using WhatsApp message trigger and Telegram message trigger to start a workflow when a message is received from either WhatsApp or Telegram. Let us see this in action. I have opened the WhatsApp and Telegram desktop apps so that I can show it to you. Let us test the WhatsApp trigger first. Click on the test workflow button here. We can see here waiting for you to create an event in WhatsApp message. Let us switch to WhatsApp and send a message here. I'm simply typing in WhatsApp and then hit the send button here. You can see the workflow is executed successfully. Click on this set node. Here I'm simply displaying a message which trigger node started the workflow. Here in the output we can see it is triggered by WhatsApp and the second trigger which is Telegram is blank. Similarly, let us check Telegram message trigger by clicking the test workflow button here. Again here we can see it is saying waiting for you to create an event in Telegram. Let us switch to Telegram app. I'm simply typing in the word Telegram. Click the send button here. We can see the node got executed. Double click this set node. Now we can see it says here in the trigger 2 that the workflow is triggered by Telegram. You can also add more trigger nodes like Slack message. If you want to know how to set up the WhatsApp integration or Telegram integration in n8n, refer to the links in the video description. Then there is the code node. Code node in n8n is one of the most powerful tools. It allows you to write custom JavaScript code to perform logic that is not possible with built-in nodes. Here is a small code example to extract the domain name from an email address. Let me open the node and you can see the code here. Let us say the email address is test@example.com and we want to extract the example.com from this email address. Let us run the node. Let us double click the code node to open and see its output. Here you see in the output area, the domain example.com has been extracted. Next is data pinning. It allows you to save a node's output during workflow development so that n8n uses that saved data in future executions instead of making repeated external requests. This helps you save time and API resources while building workflows. Keep in mind, pinning is for development only. It is not available for production executions. In order to pin the data, first you need to run the node to load the data. Let us execute this form submission. Here we are entering few fields. After entering those fields, click on this submit button. Here the node has been executed. Open the node. In the output panel, you can see the data that we just submitted. Click here to pin the data. When data is pinned, you will see a banner here saying the data is pinned and there will be an unpin button next to it. You can also see a pinned data symbol here. Now if we click the test workflow button, the pinned data will be directly used instead of displaying a new form. Let me click on the test workflow button again. You can see the workflow is executed successfully here. This is especially useful when working with APIs or external systems while designing your automation. Next, we will look into webhooks method. A webhook is a special trigger node that starts a workflow when it receives an HTTP request, usually from an external app or service. Let us open this node. Webhooks use a method to trigger this webhook node. Most commonly used methods are post and get. The important thing to remember is that the methods used by the sender and the receiver must match for this webhook to work. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here is the URL that the webhook should call and here is the HTTP post method. Now assume that we want to call this URL from an external service. We can test it by going to Postman website. Here I am logged into my Postman account. Postman is a popular API development and testing tool for APIs. It is available both as desktop app and also web app. Let us copy this URL and paste it here. We'll also add one parameter to this URL. The parameter name is name and the value is Shiva. You can see here it got appended to this URL, and here you can see we are using this get method. Now click on this listen for test event. Now it is listening for a calling event. Let us switch to Postman and hit the send button here. You can see here we are getting this 404 not found error message. It also says this webhook is not registered for get requests. The call was not successful because here we are using the get method, and in the web hook node we are using the post method. Let us now change this get method to post method and hit the send button again. You can see now we got the 200 OK code, and also we got the message workflow was started. Here we got the output, and we can see we also received the query parameter with the name and the value. Next is the version history. Version history in n8n lets you track, view and restore previous versions of a workflow. To access the version history, click on the icon here that looks like a clock. On the right hand side, it will display the changes you made in chronological order. We can click on these three dots, and these are the different options that are available. You can click on this button to restore this specific version, or you can use other options like clone to new workflow or open the version in a new tab, or you can even download that specific version. Sixth is saved credentials. The saved credentials are securely stored authentication details like API keys that you can reuse across workflows and nodes. Most API requests require you to enter the API key. If you use the API key using the header, it is visible in plain text in the node, which is a security risk. Let me show you what I mean with this. We have two HTTP request nodes here. First one using the API key in the header, and the second one using the saved credential. Let us open the first node here. We can see here that we need to pass the API key via this header authorization parameter, and the actual API key needs to be entered here after the word bearer in order for the node to work. Let us open the second HTTP request node. Here in the authentication method, we are using generic credential type, and again the generic auth type can be basic auth, bearer auth or header auth. Here we are using the header auth as we are sending the header information, and in the header auth we have specified the authorization details. Here we can see the field name is authorization, and this is the value of the API key. If we look at this field here, the key value is not displayed. You can comfortably share this template with anyone without worrying about your API key getting exposed. Another benefit of using this saved credential is that you do not need to enter your API key repeatedly across workflows. Next we have continue on error. This is a setting in many n8n nodes that tells the workflow to keep running even if that node throws an error instead of stopping the entire workflow. Let us open this node and go to settings. Here we can see the on error field is set to stop workflow, which is the default value. I purposely entered a fake URL here so that this node will fail. And we have another node after this HTTP request node. Let us click here to test the workflow. You can see the node execution has failed and the workflow has stopped here at the node where the failure occurred. Now let us open the node and change this setting to continue. Let us test the workflow again. Here you can see workflow executed successfully message. This time the workflow executed the next node even though this node had an error. Let us open this node. Here you can see the error message is there. Now we will look at the error on output setting. You might have noticed that with the previous continue on error setting, n8n treated the node execution as success even though it produced an error. We will have no way of knowing that the node had an error. The error on output setting solves that problem. When we use this setting, we will get a separate error output item and we can define further action such as sending email notification if any error arises. Let us open this node, click on the settings. Here we changed the setting to continue using error output. When this node runs, if it is success, this success branch will be executed, and if there is any error, this error branch will be executed. Let us run the workflow once. You can see the error branch got executed and it sent us an email about the error message. We have few more settings under the node settings. Let us open this up. These settings may change depending on the node. These are the settings for a HTTP node. We have this always output data. If we turn this on, it will output an empty item and workflow will continue instead of stopping at this node. Then we have execute once. If we turn this on, the workflow will execute only once, even if it receives multiple input items. Normally, if you pass 10 items into a node, the node executes 10 times, once per item. You can override that behavior with this execute once setting. If we turn this retry on fail to on position, it will allow the node to automatically retry if it encounters an error instead of immediately failing the entire workflow. Here are the settings for the code node, and these are the settings for the Gmail node. The last one is moving around n8n nodes. We will see few useful operations in workflows. We can move multiple nodes at one time. To select multiple nodes, you can click anywhere here and then drag across the nodes you want to select. Now you can see all these 3 nodes are selected. You can keep them anywhere you want. You can also copy and paste one or more nodes across workflows. For example, if we want to copy these 3 nodes, we can select those 3 nodes, then click Ctrl C. You can see the message here, copy to clipboard, and you press Ctrl V, and then those 3 nodes got pasted here. If you want to use the node in the same workflow, you can simply click on these 3 dots and click on this duplicate option, or simply press Ctrl D to duplicate the node. Keep in mind to press Ctrl key and S letter to save your workflows frequently, or click on this save button, as the workflows are not saved automatically. If you don't save your workflow while working on them and accidentally close the browser, all your changes will be lost. When you are working on a workflow in the canvas, you can use the minus key to zoom out and also the plus key to zoom in. You can use the 0 key to reset the zoom, and you can use the 1 key to fit the zoom to the screen. And that's it. Those are the 10 n8n hacks that you can start using from today.